Now, in the university, we use a lot of metaphor to help people understand quite complex subjects. And one of them is the Titanic. And I tend to talk about that because I say, okay, let's look at society as the Titanic and what people are reacting to it like. Now, the Titanic of society has hit the AI iceberg. The AI is flooding through all the decks. Now, if you go to some people, they go, no, the Titanic can't sink because it was said in the papers that it's unsinkable. And I believe that, and so I'm not going to do anything about it. Others are going, well, I'll make cakes in the kitchen. I won't do anything. Because people need cakes, won't they? And then others are going, okay, I'm just going to go to the bar and get drunk. And I don't want to know. It's somebody else's problem. It'll be sorted out. And then in terms of the Titanic film, you've got Kate and Leo on the back, kicking for the surface, preparing for the dark, something that's the unknown. They don't know what's going to happen, but they can have the agility of mind and presence to be capable of doing that. And that comes down to a structural brain change. Because if you've got the agility of mind to be able to get over, under, around everything that comes and faces, you've got a far better capability of not just surviving, but prospering in the future. Your other alternative is to wait for rescue, wait for somebody else to bail you out and solve it. And there isn't anybody else going to be able to do it, because the only people who are going to really be empowered to do it are the government, and they're going to be wanting to make you a ward of the state. And to do that, they've got to keep you occupied. And to keep you occupied, they've got to keep you in work. So what will that work be? Well, that's digital work in a digital reality, because this reality will have robots in it that can do it. The digital reality just keeps you busy, so you're not idle hands make the devil's work. You don't create social chaos or upset because you're protesting about not having work and you're wanting to hate AI because it took your job. Understandably so, but the governments have already put those mechanisms in place so you don't become a problem once you're released from the jail of the mind that your work situation is, because you identified through your limitations, which were your work role. You didn't identify as a human being or your capacity or your potential. You identified through the limitations of the mind what you thought you could do. And so long as somebody needed that, then you were of value, but now they don't need it because it's being replaced by artificial consciousness and AI and robotics. You become superfluous unless you can upgrade your mind, unless you can start to become more than you are, unless you can get over yourself and stop being you as you think it is and become a person that is of value, a person with the agility of mind to be able to cope with multiple problems and be able to cope without stress. So you don't look at the world from A plus B equals C and that's it for you. You look at the world as A plus B equals multiple potentials coexisting, and you're using your brain's agility to pick the optimum process for that moment and be able to optimize for the future, but always open to new ideas coming in. This is a key part of the evolution of society and you as an individual. Unless you change your brain structure, unless you learn how to do that, your value as a human being goes down. If you learn to change your brain structure so you can learn to train other people on how to do that, your value in society goes massively up, because you're now getting huge levels more creativity, huge levels more being a human. It's not about performance in terms of a role or a job. Forget that. It's performance of being a better human being. When something's already evolving called an artificial intelligence and an artificial consciousness that is already being better and better all the time. The difference between AI and artificial consciousness, by the way, is artificial consciousness is an acceleration and an amplification of human consciousness. AI is a separate system. It just optimizes its process. It's not aware, it's not conscious. It can mimic consciousness, but it's not. So there's a lot to learn here in the university, a lot that you will never be taught in school, you'll never be taught in universities outside of this one, because we focus on developing the brain first and foremost, to give it greater bandwidth and capacity by activating the neuroplastic element through the programs that we do. And if you are prepared to embrace the future, then there will be things that you want to invest in straight away, because you'll be retraining your brain to be a leader in the future as opposed to a victim or a passenger. And that is the way you survive. That's the way that you maintain your position in society in a way that it is at least somebody of value, as opposed to someone that's just trying to get by. And the future requires that of you if you're of a mind to increase your mind. That's what the university is about. You've got a long way to go. You've got a lot of potential to uncover, and that's an exciting journey. And when you do the programs that we do, they're an earning and learning programs where you can apply what you know to other people and make their lives better as you go. And there is nothing better than doing that. Every other role that you've ever done will be irrelevant to that, because becoming a better human is the only industry of the future. And at the moment, your latent capacity, because of the educational suppressing you, gives you a huge shift up. And that makes life exciting, worth living for as long as you want. There is no downside to this. There is no end to this. There's no end to the capacity of your brain. I'm 64. I've just had 2 little children. I really don't feel like life is at the end. I feel it's at the beginning, and that everything that went before is just leading to this particular point. It's incredibly exciting, as opposed to I see other people who are checking out, literally, and people who are sort of getting to the position where they don't see any value in themselves, so sort of preparing to check out and thinking life is over. Thinking it's just the beginning in your mid-60s is a pretty good place to be, and that's what the university gives people, doesn't matter what their age. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun in the future, but it takes you grasping it, doing something with it, and that creates a lot of investment into yourself, a lot of time, energy, and money, of course, because no one's going to upgrade your brain for free. But once you've got that capacity, then you not only have a career for life, obviously, you've got a purpose and a destiny and a value to society that is beyond just working for someone for a living, or working for a business that's your business and thinking, I'm just making money and I'm trying to stay in business. That's the past. Future's completely different.